All right. What is up, y'all? This is Will, and this is the Restaurant Owners Uncorked podcast brought to you by us here at Schedulefly. Simple, web-based restaurant employee scheduling software backed by legendary customer service and all at a low price point. We've yet to raise our prices in 18 years in business. So simple software, great service, low price point. If you are on pencil and paper or Excel for your scheduling, we have an easy solution for you. If you got headaches with scheduling and communication, we got some aspirin that works. If what you're doing is working, just keep doing it. But if you got headaches, we can make life easier for you. We got a 30-day free trial, schedulefly.com. My personal cell phone number is on that website on like 3 pages. You can call me or text me anytime. Our business and our software is so simple that I actually operate on a flip phone, but I can still manage the business from a flip phone. Everything about Schedulefly is super simple. Now, if you're on another scheduling platform, 7shifts, Hot Schedules, any of these other ones, you may love them, and that's cool. But if you don't, we offer a simpler alternative with better service. We are not backed by venture capital or private equity, so we don't have to charge all the exorbitant prices that they tend to charge. And you can give us a try again, 30-day free trial, or call me or text me. My number's right there, schedulefly.com. All right. Thank y'all for listening. This is like possibly episode number 600. We're getting near episode number 600 if we're not there yet. We've been doing this for 15 years, and we've been sharing the stories of restaurant owners around the country, some that we know because they're our customers at Schedulefly, and some that we've never met before. And that's the case today. And so this is an awesome opportunity to tell a really cool story. We tried this a couple weeks ago. My man Orr was like sick as could be and was still willing to go through with it. And I was like, no. We're going to wait till you're feeling good. So he's looking better, feeling better. And how now we have an opportunity to have this conversation. So, Orr, thank you very much. And if you wouldn't mind, just introduce yourself real quick.
First of all, thank you for having me. My name is Peleg. I'm with the Tel Aviv Restaurant Group down in LA in the San Fernando Valley. I'm excited to be here.
All right, man. So we're going to just talk for a while about whatever we decide to talk about. But because I don't have a script and I don't have a formula, I just like to have conversations. But the one thing I always ask to start out is, how and when did you initially begin your career in hospitality?
Oh, wow. I initially actually wanted to be a lawyer, and I did not want my parents to pay for my school or anything like that. So I'm going to take a year off of high school and get a job wherever I can, save some money, and go from there and start working at a local little cafe. And I realized I didn't want to go to school for like 8 to 12 more years. And I realized how much fun I was having at work, kind of giving people great experiences and connecting with people. And it's been that for me ever since.
How about that? Well, from dreams of being a lawyer to owning restaurants, and now you've got, so your group, Tel Aviv Restaurant Group, how many restaurants do y'all have?
We have 6 restaurants now, and
Okay.
we're on the verge of hopefully opening another one by the end of the month. So we're super excited about that.
Dude, congratulations. That's a
Thank
lot
you.
to handle. That's a lot to handle, period. But
Yes.
you're in LA. And LA is like a whole different world now since COVID. There are plenty of challenges that come along with operating restaurants in LA since COVID, and we'll get into that. But when did you open your first location?
So I joined the group about 5 years ago. They opened in 2011.
Okay.
The first location was a little supermarket, making shawarma and skewers down in Reseda. And very quickly, the founders kind of grew out of that and expanded. And as they expanded, they kind of needed more hands on deck. As you said, it's a handful to run 6 restaurants. So we are 4 of us now, the 2 founders and myself and another managing partner.
Gotcha. Okay. When you started, did you come in as did you buy in as a managing partner or come in as a managing partner, or did you work your way up to that?
I worked my way up, and initially I was just coming in to manage one of the branches. I was managing bars right before then, and my son turned one, and I was like, bars are not for me with a kid. And I've known the owners, the founders for since they were servers themselves in a restaurant down the street, and we linked up and decided to give it a shot to work together and work my way up from there.
That's awesome. So how many, and you had a kid who was one at the time. How many kids do you have now?
I'm sorry, I lost you.
How many kids do you have now?
I have two.
You have two. How old are your kids?
My daughter is turning 3 in September, and my son is 5.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You got your hands full, man.
absolutely.
Those are, hey, I've been there. My daughter's 21 and my boys are 18 and 15. I mean, I miss those days. I don't miss like just the constant daily. It's kind of nonstop, but I do miss when they're young and innocent and sweet. And then when they get older, there's a lot of cool things that come with that. But then also there's like a whole different set of like stresses that come along with that. So
I'm sure. I'm looking forward to it.
yeah, yeah. Uh, well, okay, man. So tell me about the group. Tell me about your restaurants. What's special about what y'all are doing?
The thing we're most well known for is our shawarma and Mediterranean grill locations. We have 4 different concepts right now, but that's kind of our bread and butter, what started everything, and what we're most well known for. And what kind of distinguishes us is that we're kosher, we're glad kosher restaurant. So we have to adhere to Jewish dietary laws, and that kind of puts us in this niche in this community where we are very embedded in, and that's the majority of our customer. Sorry, majority of our customer base.
Okay. Explain what that means. I was talking to Julie, your PR agent, a little bit before this, but explain what that means to somebody who doesn't know. I mean, I like most people know the word kosher. They don't necessarily know what that means.
Yeah, so as I say, it just means you follow Jewish dietary guidelines, and we don't work on Saturdays, and we have to kind of work around finding suppliers for kosher providers. So like all the meat has to be butchered a certain way and come from a certain place. There can be a mixture of dairy and meat in the restaurants. So we have a dairy location. There's no meat on there at all, and then we have our meat locations that can't have any dairy there at all.
Interesting. So y'all are not open on Saturdays.
No, no. At first, when I first joined the group, and I was talking to the founders, I was like, "Is it really worth it? Like, it's one of the biggest days of the week in our industry. Like, how are we giving that up?" And it's Friday night through Saturday, basically. We can open Saturday nights after sundown. So, but in the summer, it gets super late. So right now on Saturdays, we're opening like 9:45 for
Oh,
late night service at our tapas bar, which is like our full service restaurant. But other than that, it seemed a little bit weird for me in the beginning, but now I'm so thankful for it because it kind of gives us the time to it forces us to chill out a day a week, and that's super important in this industry to have that breathing room.
mm, it is very important. It is a tough industry. It is a grind, and it's like a 24/7, 365 grind for a lot of people, which leads to a lot of there's substance abuse, mental health issues, work hard, play hard, which leads to all kinds of problems. So that is a good thing. And probably I would guess for people that um, abide by a kosher lifestyle themselves, this is a great thing. This probably attracts them even more because you're taking a stand. I mean, look, I live down in the Southeast. Chick-fil-A doesn't open on Sundays. Trust me, that doesn't hurt their business. It probably helps
Exactly.
it in a lot of ways. Try going there on Saturday. Like it's nuts how crowded they are. And so
I'll
I,
send you a picture of the restaurant on a Sunday. Sundays are insane.
Sundays are insane. So the deal is like, is it sundown Friday? I mean, yeah, sundown Friday,
Sundown Friday to sundown Saturday.
sundown Saturday. Got it. All right. And I mean, this is going to sound like a dumb question, but like, how do you technically determine sundown? Like, is it literally what the weather says? Like, sundown is
Yeah,
official.
so like there's a calendar that like helps us out. We don't have to like stand outside the restaurant and look outside and see what's going on.
We can open
Um,
now.
yeah, we kind of have like a calendar that tells us, but it's literally when the Weather Channel tells you sun up and sundown. That is it. That's what we
That's
have to go by.
okay. I mean, I'm sure there are other kosher restaurants. I've not come across any. Are there other kosher places there in and around LA?
Oh yeah, absolutely. There's
Yeah.
a
Okay.
very large Jewish community here, especially in the San Fernando Valley.
Okay.
All of our restaurants are in the San Fernando Valley, so we have six here, and then there are plenty other uh, kosher restaurants around.
Okay.
That's for sure.
I wonder if yeah, okay. I've lived my entire life in Charlotte, North Carolina, where I am now, except for 2 years. I lived in Burbank, California, right there in the valley.
Couldn't last time; it was too much. This place.
Too much. Well, it was right when my wife and I got married, and we always knew we'd wind up back here, but we wanted to just to be somewhere different, like before we started having a family. So
Yeah,
we spent 2 years there. I lived on Hollywood Way in Verdugo, right there in Burbank, right up the street from like the studios. Spent a bunch of time, in and around Toluca Lake, Sherman Oaks, Glendale. Like I mean, I loved it there. The weather was great, and it was a
that's the
really
best
nice
thing
city.
about this place is the weather.
Weather's phenomenal. It's intoxicating. We'd come home and I would get like depressed just because we'd have like a cloudy day or something, which is normal, and I would just like, this is horrible. I need the sun. Like, cause I actually found a letter, dude. I found a letter when my grandmother passed. They gave me all the letters that I had written to her. She had kept them in a box, and my aunt or uncle or somebody gave them to me. And I was looking through them, and there was a letter that I wrote in October of 2020, and it said, um, "We've not received a drop of rain here since January." And this was in October. Like, that's insane.
Yeah,
But, it was very intoxicating. And I loved it there. And it was very diverse, and the people were awesome, and everybody was cool and chill because it was always nice outside, and it was like awesome. Um, y'all have had quite a few challenges um, to navigate during and since COVID.
yeah.
We're now on the other side of that. A lot has changed out there. What are some of the biggest challenges that you all have right now in just the day-to-day operations of running a business in the Los Angeles area that maybe not everybody else has in other places?
I think I don't know about what everybody else has in other places, but I think staffing has become very weird. People are not as don't seem to be as committed. Like
Yeah.
they're more comfortable going from place to place than I remember in the past.
Yeah.
Um, and that gets very challenging. Obviously, the cost of training new staff and people like some for whatever reason it doesn't work out. You got to train new staff, and to have it happen as consistently as it's happening since the pandemic, it's been tough. It's been tough to. We have people that have been with us since we opened 11 years ago, but the newer staff, especially the younger people in the lower level positions, cashiers and stuff like that, which has always been like a high turnover rate, but now it's just way more than I remembered before, for sure.
Is that cause y'all as you grow and you open new locations to try to come up with concepts that have fewer staff?
No, actually, all the concepts that we've opened since have been a lot more like more staff, less like casual dining, more higher end, finer dining concepts, which obviously you need more hands on deck. So it's been a little bit more challenging um, to acquire staff for that, but we're trying to spread our wings and get into all sorts of all sorts of corners in this industry.
Um, Good. Glad to hear that. Very glad to hear that. We need more. There's a lot of restaurants now where there's barely anybody, and it just eventually becomes a commodity. I mean, when I go out, like, I want to sit and be served and have somebody that, the challenge is this. This is the part. You want somebody that seems like they give a crap when
Exactly.
you're sitting at the table. It's harder to find those people these days. And when you find
Exactly.
them, you really want to keep them. But out where you are in particular, it's expensive to keep them. I mean, your minimum wage is really high, and then it's like that's a tough piece, but it
Yeah,
can be done.
for sure, for sure. But I go to restaurants out here, and I remember taking my family out for breakfast to a place that we used to love going to. I'm not gonna mention the name, but we used to love going to that place for breakfast. And we go in and we sit down, and there's no server. Scan a QR code, order on your phone. Food comes out, however it comes out. And I look at my wife, and I'm like, this is not what restaurants are about. If like to make pancakes and some eggs in the morning, I can do that at home. I came out here for the experience, for the connection, for everything we why we are here. Like, to begin with, it's not like I don't want to disparage like other places, but like fast food, like drive through type of place. If that's what I wanted, I would have gone there. If I came to sit at a restaurant, I want that person that said seems like they give a crap and wants you to have the best experience possible, wants to represent the restaurant, the establishment they're working at the best way possible. And it seems to be dwindling nowadays. That's kind of why we, instead of cutting down on staff, we have gone the opposite direction. Up my staffing and to make sure the service is a lot more hands-on and that people feel like it's a lot more personable rather than a machine like going up to like especially in our fast casual places to go like up to an iPad, click what you want, move on with your day. No, I want somebody to know that it's the first time here. So they can give you a sample of the shawarma, maybe get you a falafel, explain to you how the concept works, answer any questions you have. I don't want you to be lost. Because if you're lost, you're not coming back. And our whole business is about you coming back.
That's right. Yes. I love this. I'm glad you're doing this. Please keep doing it because we need people to do that because it's becoming more rare and we keep getting pushed to all this like super fast in and out screens tech. It's all this tech. And what is hospitality? I mean, hospitality is going somewhere to somebody's home and being made to feel welcome and served. Like that's what we want. And we're being nudged into this like, I mean, listen, my kids ordered DoorDash. So I'm like, this is like, what is this? Like, no, like, let's go sit and be present with each other. And we can't be present with each other if like everything's rushed and fast and order on the screen and sit and move and like, let's go sit somewhere, have somebody come in, make us feel welcome, make us feel at home. And this is the cool part about like I always talk about like so you've got Julie, your awesome PR agent. And what PR does is it creates awareness and buzz and gets people coming in the doors. Yeah. Now the question is the only reason you should ever use PR is if you do a good job, because I've seen this done poorly, you have to do a great job of making them want to come back, right? Like
It's
I've
all
seen
about retention.
restaurants.
It's all
I
about
knew one in New York that we had them on the podcast years ago, and they had all this PR and all this buzz. And there's so much of that, and there were so many people coming in. The experience sucked, and like they ended up like imploding because operationally they couldn't keep up with like the promise of the brand. PR was doing such a great job of creating, but then and I was like bought in, and my wife and her friend went up there. I was like, "Oh, you got to go to this place," and they went. My wife called me. She's like, "This place is like we waited forever. The service wasn't good. Like the food was okay. It's like there's all these people here, and like I wouldn't
I,
go
I
back
I always say like you can get away with okay food if your service is exceptional.
if your service is exceptional."
Because
Yeah,
Food isn't obviously that's the core of the business, but it's not why people come. You can go have a shawarma or a drink or a beer or a million different places. On Ventura alone, you can have shawarma maybe 100 something different places. What's gonna make you come back to Tel Aviv specifically? It's the freshness, it's the experience, it's knowing that you're gonna be taken care of when you come by. We have customers that have been with us again since we opened in the little market for 11 years. They come back every day to have the same thing, they're going to get the same thing with a smile and have a great experience when they get it.
Absolutely. Amen. Yeah.
How prevalent is all the machine ordering and here? I know it's popping up like everywhere. Like much it's everywhere. You order it through an iPad, you barely get to see a person.
There is look, I own a restaurant technology company, but I operate with a flip phone and literally a piece of paper. That's how I run this business. I don't like a lot of tech. I think that tech has a place, but I try to always get away with the bare minimum. And that's why I tell people, if you don't need, like, if you're fine with pencil and paper, or just use it, do it. Uh, don't use something else. There has been billions of dollars invested in restaurant technology over the last 10 years, or a lot of it is because, and this is, you probably see this. I have people tell me this all the time that own restaurants. They're like, Will, the amount of technology that people try to sell me as a restaurant owner that was developed by somebody who never worked in a restaurant and funded by people who never worked in restaurants is amazing. And that's what happened when money was free for like a decade.
Yeah.
You could get money to do anything. And there's all this tech out there. But at the end of the day, what's never going to change with really good, thoughtful, intentional, local, independent restaurants is people, period. End of story. Like, that's what moves the needle, and that's what keeps people coming back, is it having somebody there that cares. And I personally think that, like, groups like yours and local independent operators, it's not just um, having local independent restaurants that thrive, in my mind, is a really, really important part of any community. And if you talk about, go find, like, ask somebody, like, what are some of the coolest places in our country, the coolest cities or towns that you like or that you've been to, and they tell you, and you're like, well, why is that? It's not going to take many, like, there's only going to be a handful of reasons, and one of them is always going to be awesome independent restaurant. That
Absolutely.
tends cool because they got a bunch of big chains and fast food places. They say that town's cool because culture, art, restaurants, music, like, and restaurants are sort of the heartbeat of a great community.
I agree. I agree 1,000%. It's where people get together with their families, with their friends, to make memories. And that's our job. That's why I always tell our staff, it's not about, again, selling the steak or selling the shawarma. It's about giving the experience. People don't come here for the steak. People come here for the experience of being and sharing that experience with the people they love, people around them. And if you don't provide a space for that, and if everything is just cold and unnatural, people are not going to vibe with that. I really hope that more and more places are going to wake up to that, and even the big corporate chains can wake up to that, because they also used to get good service.
Well, there's an interesting dynamic right now in our country. I'm very curious how this is going to play out over the next few years. It may be to y'all's benefit in some ways in terms of your staffing, because the economy's slowed down a little bit, particularly for certain types of jobs that can be replaced by AI. There's a lot of kids coming out of college right now that have expensive degrees that are not getting the kind of jobs they want. And that's unfortunate, but it is real, and it is only going to increase, I think. I mean, my daughters are rising senior in college, and I got a son going in as a freshman, and I'm like, wonder what y'all are going to do. Like
Yeah,
just
yeah, for
replacing a
sure.
lot of these like white collar jobs and things you may go to college for. Um, so that may lead to an abundance of highly qualified people that wind up, working in restaurants because, frankly, they get out, they can't get what they want. A lot of them, unfortunately, have student loans that have to be repaid, and therefore you have to get a job. And restaurants are always looking to hire, thoughtful people.
Absolutely, but the question is, with more of that coming into the labor market in restaurants and the hospitality industry, what are the wages that they're going to be expecting? You go to university and you have like these degrees that whether they're useful or not, but you're not using them right now. You're going to want to get paid $20-$30 per hour plus tips plus whatever, and that's what's happening here right now. I don't know if you're aware, but McDonald's employees here get paid $20 an hour, and that really dampens the market. Like it's really tough.
Well, they do. This is the challenge with these labor laws like that. That I get, they're well intentioned, but I think a lot of
I hope so. I hope they're well intentioned.
well, who knows if there's. I mean, but like you want to hope that. I mean, my theory is that like most politicians, a lot of them, they've never actually owned a business or run a business, and so it sounds good, like oh, people should make more money. But what happens is those jobs wind up just getting replaced by screens and technology. That's why McDonald's will have fewer. I mean, come on, like 5 years from now, you think McDonald's is going to have more than like a few people in there? Heck no. Like they're going to have all this equipment making the burgers, making the fries. They're going to have like one person in there who's like tending to the freaking robots and the screens. And there's going to be like
Exactly what it is.
hospitality. But on the flip side of that, the other side of that pendulum is the thoughtful, intentional restaurant that does make you feel welcome. And here's the thing: I would say this: hey, you know what? You got out of college, you got sold a bill of goods, you can't get the job you want, you're going to work in a restaurant. Well, there's two. You can choose like how you perceive that, right? Like our mind is our best weapon, and nobody can take it from us. I mean, go read go read Viktor Frankl's A Man's Search for Meaning. I mean, and how he got through concentration camps and lost his entire family and wound up like turning that into something that he developed a type of therapy for that. But I like his thing is like nobody can take your mind away. And when you get that job and you're not happy about the fact that you're not working in some office somewhere, well, sorry, but you know what you can do? You can work really hard to take really good care of people, make them feel really welcome, get great tips from that, and give yourself an opportunity to do what you did, which is to grow in a restaurant or in a group of restaurants and eventually be a manager. And then maybe one day be a managing partner. And then maybe one day going and starting your own restaurant. Like that's a real path for people and it's a really good path if you want to choose to do it that way. The other opportunity is to say, this sucks. I don't want to work in a restaurant. I got a college degree. I don't care about these guests. This is below me. Fine, but you're not going to last, and you're not going to last in many jobs. Like, and what are you going to do? Like,
For sure.
so I think I love restaurants because restaurants have always been around. They'll always be around, and is the best place, no matter what your financial background is, your socioeconomic background, your race, your ethnicity, doesn't matter. You want to come work real hard and take good care of the guests? Oh, you were in jail once when you were young. Hey, you know what? We'll give you an opportunity. You can earn it or you can lose it. We'll give you that opportunity. There's not many other industries where you can do that. And really, so I have a lot of love for the restaurant industry for that, for sure.
Absolutely. I hope more people take the former approach you mentioned, which is to kind of make the best of what you got. Whatever decisions you had made are in the past. Let's look in the future and like work hard and pull through. I hope more people take that. And, we're in America. That's kind of in our DNA to be like that. So I hope that's what takes over rather than the latter.
You know what? Eventually reality is going to kick in, and it just,
It always does, one way or
it
another.
always does. It always does. It's the best place in the world for opportunity. We got it pretty good over here. You don't like your plot? Go live in another country for a little while.
Try
You'll
that.
find,
Tell me
like,
how that works out for you.
you let me know how that works out. Yeah, it's a pretty darn awesome place.
There's a reason. There's a reason so many people moved out here, including my family and myself. There's a reason. There's a reason all of us are out here.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. It's mindset's a big thing. Well, so, or what is it? I love stories like yours. Like you were going to be a lawyer. I'm really glad you weren't a lawyer because you probably would have wound up being a politician and you would have been making these crappy policies that don't make
I would have
sense.
been a good one. You don't know.
Uh, but here you are doing your thing. What is it? It's a tough business. I mean, there's nowhere. It's a hard business. Like people think hospitality seems cool and it's sexy and oh look, Orr's there shaking hands and buying drinks for guests and regulars, but that's like this tiny, tiny, tiny sliver of time. And what people don't see is, oh, the chef quit mid, mid shift.
30 minutes ago.
Got a big problem, or the freezer broke at 3 a.m. and I got to go over there and deal with this and move food around, whatever it is. Like they don't see that. And they're part of like, I like to people on this podcast, I like to share the highs and the great things about what you love about hospitality, but also the reality of it. Because what we try to do is we try to inspire and educate people. I mean, the guests or the audience of this podcast, a lot of it's people that own and run restaurants or want to own and run restaurants. And I always think if somebody listens to this and they're like, huh, never mind, that's actually a good thing. Because a lot of people get into this and they learn the hard way after, losing their ass and losing their business that this is not what they wanted to do. Do you have those conversations with people that come to you that are like, hey, I love you, what you do looks so cool, I want to do this?
I can't tell you how many people I've talked out of opening restaurants and
Yeah.
calling them what. Because I'll give you an example. Right after I left the bars, one of my regulars over there actually is a financial advisor, and he became my financial advisor. And after I'd left, the bars went up for sale about a year or so later, and him and a couple of our other regulars wanted to like, hey, let's buy together, let's reopen. I'm like, listen, guys, you're about to dump like $2 million into a place. None of you have ever held a tray, shaken a drink, picked up a pot. You know the bar from sitting down on the other side, having a drink with your friends. That's not what's going to happen. You're going to lose $2 million, and I'm not going to let that happen. So I got all of them together and I sat them down. I'm like, you are not opening a place. My uncle 2 months ago came up to me and wanted to open a shawarma place in Las Vegas. I told him, you're in moving. What are you doing? You do moving. Keep moving, people. You don't know what you're getting yourself into. Then I showed him the statistics of how many restaurants open after the first 5 years, how many restaurants open after the first year and close. And he's not opening a restaurant. Let's put it that way.
Good. Especially in Vegas right now. Vegas is struggling.
Yes.
I'm glad he didn't do that. He would have lost his tail most likely.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. There you go. I mean, you have to really love it. But the thing is, though, and this is the thing. So I started this podcast like 2010, right? I mean, you couldn't even distribute a podcast. And I had like a $35 microphone plugged into my USB port. I'd literally put my phone on speakerphone and record the conversation. And then we would embed it into our blog at Schedulefly. Like that was our quote podcast, right? But when I started this, or I'm like, okay, I've got all of our customers own restaurants. I got this opportunity to go talk to all these successful operators all over the country. I'm going to learn everything there is about like how to run a restaurant, and I'm going to open my own restaurant one day. That was like my dream. Dude, it was like 30 or 40 interviews into this 600 that we've done where I was like, forget that. Like, I have a lot of respect for y'all. I'd like to give y'all a platform to share your stories. but no freaking way I got that in me because you kind of have to have it. I think there's got to be something in your DNA where you're like, you're willing to go through all the really hard parts. And there literally is like every day, there's
Every
either
day there's something new. Every
there's
day.
something new every single day. There's either a metaphorical fire, could be an actual fire, but
Yeah.
there's like something every day. But you're willing to do that and go through it because at the end of the day, the joy and fulfillment you get outweighs all that stuff. And if you don't have that in you, you're not going to have that because that joy is going to be, you're going to be like, this is absurd. How does anybody do this? This is horrible. Never mind. And you don't want to learn that when you're, as you said, $2 million in, or you're like, hey, I'm going to buy this restaurant and I'm a doctor, but I'm going to hire some guy or some gal to run it for me. No, 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 no. Like,
That's the
ain't
worst.
going to work out. Like, nope, you better be in there and you better know this place. And you're going to have to bust your ass for a few years before you can even not be there like every day, probably. Or
Yeah,
it's,
nobody's gonna care about your restaurant, and nobody's gonna care about your guests like you do. Especially not in the beginning. You have to build that culture. You have to make it happen. You have
yeah,
to enshrine that into your management team, and they have to enshrine that into lower level staff. It's uh, it's not an easy thing to put together. Our founders are still in the restaurants every day, whether it might be for 10 minutes on the way to the office between locations, but they're in there. It's not like after 11 years they're in Cabo every weekend sipping on margaritas. It's a grind. It's a grind, and a lot of people think it's, oh, you guys make a lot of money. It's restaurants. Hey, I'll tell you, there's much better, easier ways to make money than running restaurants. That's for sure.
ways to make money and run a rest. That is for sure. Let me ask you this. All right. What would you say? Let's just say that there was an audience of your customers listening to this regularly. And what would you say to this? Like, how do you think this? What do you say to the people that are your regular customers? What message would you give them?
We're grateful. We're grateful that they keep showing up for us. Even, we're human. We make mistakes. We mess up sometimes. We're late. Maybe something got overcooked. But they appreciate us and they keep coming back and they keep knowing that we're doing our best to make their lives a little bit better every day, a little bit easier every day. And that's what we strive for. And I'm grateful for them for keeping coming and keeping a roof over our heads and keeping our staff working. It's it they have a lot of places to go to and they keep choosing us, and that's not we don't take that for granted.
Boom. Love that, man. That's awesome. Yeah. Um, the that message, when conveyed, um, secondhand.
I'm sorry to cut you off. I feel like that message is what the hospitality industry is about. Like if you don't appreciate your guests and you don't show them that how important they are to your business, and it's not just to me as the operator and the owner, to every member of our staff that needs that guest to keep coming back so we can pay them and they can pay their bills. Like, if people don't have that understanding, then this industry is done. Like, that's the core of this industry, appreciating the people that come in. The customer is always right as a cliche, but it's true. Like, if they're wrong, they're not coming back, so they better be right. That's the way I look at it.
Yes. I mean, that is the core of what this is all about. When people feel that, they always will return and they will be gracious and they will know that it's all good. They were off tonight, but they love us, and that's that is the essence of hospitality. It is the hardest part of helping or finding people that will convey that message to the way they serve your guests, because that's how you feel and your partners feel. And finding people that, want to serve with a servant's heart maybe they've been a server for 30 years, but they don't like people. They're not the right person for the job, right? Like you can teach them to wait on a table, but you can't teach them to actually care.
Yeah.
Uh, I think we're going through a rough patch for the last, you know, I don't know, 8 or 10 years. Social media has caused like a lot of like self-centeredness and lack of, empathy, and you kind of only see the extremes. And but at the end of the day, it's like most people are not
Not that.
you see on social media. Most
Yeah.
people don't, and the positive or the negative, like their life is not that great. Like they're normal, just like I said. Most people are just, but you see that stuff, and it just, you know. But I think people are getting a lot more dialed into that. I think people are starting to kind of come back to wanting to be um, happy and have an enjoyable life and be around people they care about and be around their friends and be around their families and be at restaurants. I mean, like the extreme end of like, you can't go to a restaurant. So everything you did during COVID was like coming to you or whatever. Like
Yeah.
that sucked. Like, so I think people are moving more in that direction. And I think, I do.
The cup half full part of COVID is I think it was such a heavy dose of kind of the direction we were going in already. We were going in direction of everything coming to us and everything being like not personable, everything being cold and machine like. And I think it gave us such a heavy dose all at once that everybody kind of, no, I wouldn't say everybody, but a lot of people woke up and were like, that's not the society I want to have. That's not the community I want to build. And if we can be grateful for something from COVID, that's something I'm grateful for sure.
Love that, dude. What a great perspective. That's awesome. What else, man? Is there anything else you want to rap about? I want to respect your time, but anything else on your mind that you want to share?
No, I'm happy. I'm happy that we got together. I hope we can do this again. You're a great conversationist. I don't want to say interviewer because it's been a conversation and it's what you're shooting for. And I love that. I love podcasts like that. I didn't hear of this podcast before Julie brought it up, but I've been listening to all episodes back to back. I love it.
Oh, good, man.
I love it.
That's awesome.
Great. It's great to hear, like sometimes in restaurants, you feel like my partners and we feel like we're on an island, like who's going to understand what's going on? Like, and then you hear other operators talking and you're like, oh, other people are going through the same things we're going through. That's good.
Dude, I've had a lot of people tell me that they listen to this for therapy.
Absolutely.
You do seem very isolated on an island, and it's like hearing everybody else. It's like, well, at least I'm not the only one. It's true. I literally just got off the phone before I came up here to do this with a friend of mine. She's a CEO of another company, and we were just kind of catching up. I'm like, he's like, how are you doing? I'm like, man, I'm great. Like there's so much positive stuff going on right now in our company, but it's also like heavy lies the head that wears the crown. I was like, it's kind of I'm kind of exhausted, like emotionally kind of spent sometimes. And she's, she's like, dude, like you sound like you need a break. Like you need some downtime. And I'm like, yeah, I probably needed to hear that. I probably do. It's just good. It's good to have other people that can relate.
People don't always think about, you got to wear many different hats. You're not just a restaurateur. You gotta be a psychologist for all your staff. You gotta know plumbing. You gotta be a contractor. You gotta be a chef. You gotta know so many things, and you gotta be always attentive to everybody. Everybody has a question. Everybody has an emergency. You gotta, we have almost 200 employees now between all the locations. When I tell you something happens every day to somebody, and they need attention, and they need that to know that we have their back and we're there for them. It's every day. Every day something happens, and they're part of our family, they're part of the team, and we need to make sure that everybody's taken care of. So I can relate to being, sometimes I get home like 11 o'clock at night after a long day. I just think back about that day and I'm like, wow, all of this happened today.
All this happened today. And then you got a 3-year-old and a 5-year-old who are going to be up early and trying to balance having kids. And it's a lot, dude. It's a lot. You have to be very deliberate and intentional about trying to find some balance, because it will grind you down if you let it. And
I urge restaurant owners listening to this to open a kosher restaurant, because you have uh built-in time off weekly and like holidays, which I'll tell you, balancing your family life and the work life in this industry, because it's so, I would say, intense, as far as like, you got to put in the hours. There's no restaurateur
yeah,
that's successful that's not working 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 hours a day. It's just part of the business. But if you don't balance it with your family life or friends, it's gonna get the better of you. That's like you said in the beginning. There's a lot of substance abuse in this industry, and a lot of it is because people don't have that balance. And open a kosher restaurant; it'll alleviate that.
there it is. Just open a kosher restaurant. So I'll close with the episode I did yesterday with Drew Moore, 33-year restaurant owner, and we were talking about the concept of like how it seems so cool, but how hard it really is. He goes, "Will, let me tell you what, a restaurant owner, I just call you the CEO of fixing toilets." He's like, dude, I have like a box of toilet handles in my office. And the number of times he's like, "You think it's cool? Come watch me the next time I got to fix a toilet that some customer like, tell me how cool that is."
Literally how I started my morning yesterday. That's so funny about that.
That's freaking hilarious, man. Oh, dude, or I'm really, really glad that we got to connect and I appreciate it. And I mean, I'm literally you you looked so sick when you came on and tried to do this. You're like, "Oh, I'll muscle through it." I mean, dude, you look really rough. So I'm
It was
glad
a
that
rough week. It was a rough week for sure. I'm happy. I'm happy we postponed, but I wanted to respect your time. I didn't want you to get on and tell you, oh, I'm out. I'm sick.
nah, that's fine, dude. It was very clear. I was like, God, that guy, that's a restaurant owner. Like, I'll muscle through the no, but you look great now. You sound great. You have a great story and just a great philosophy and a clear love for what you do, man. So I appreciate you coming on here and taking the time to share.
I appreciate you, Will. I hope we can do this again.
We will. And for y'all listening, I'm trying to get better about this. Um, please go give us a rating on iTunes or Spotify, wherever you listen. Just click that 5 stars, write a little comment in there. And the reason I ask that is because those algorithms find content that gets ratings and then they put it in front of people more often than others. And so the more ratings we get, the more other people will get served up awesome stories like yours that we're getting to share on this podcast. So take the time to do that. Thank y'all for listening. More episodes coming soon. See ya.
Thank you, Will.